Home is supposed to be the one place where the world can't get to you. It's the sanctuary where you lock the door, turn out the lights, and feel safe. But what if the locks don't matter? What if the threat isn't trying to get in because it's already there? In 1986, the Bowen family lived in a house in Pepperell, Massachusetts, that felt a little too big. Frank was a hard-working father trying to hold his family together after his wife had passed away. His two daughters, Tina and Karen, were grieving, and for a long time, the house was quiet. Too quiet, until the tapping started. It began as a faint sound behind a drywall. It wasn't the heavy thud of a pipe or the frantic scuttle of a squirrel. It was rhythmic. Tap, tap, tap. 3 hits, then silence. Tina and Karen were the first to notice. They'd be sitting in their rooms, and the sound would move, starting near the floorboards and migrating up toward the ceiling. When they told their father, Frank did what any logical parent would do. He checked the attic and the basement, finding nothing but insulation and old boxes. But then, the glitches escalated. Imagine walking into your bathroom and seeing the steam on the mirror fading to reveal words written in shaving cream. "I'm back." Or finding your mother's old jewelry move from the dresser to the center of the kitchen table. Frank began to suspect his daughters were acting out for attention. But even after he changed the locks, the messages kept appearing. The house was sealed tight, yet the intruder was getting bolder. The night the ghost became flesh was December 8th, 1986. The girls were in their bedroom when they noticed the door to a small, built-in wall cabinet, a space barely large enough for blankets, was slightly ajar. As they watched, a pale, thin hand reached around the edge of the wood. The door creaked open, and out stepped the nightmare. It was a 16-year-old boy named Daniel LaPlante. But he didn't look like a boy. He was wearing their deceased mother's floral dress, a blonde wig, and smeared makeup that looked like a mask. In one hand, he clutched a heavy wrench, in the other, a hatchet. He hadn't been breaking in. He had been living there for weeks. He had navigated the veins of the house, the narrow crawl spaces and the gaps behind the wall studs, watching them eat, listening to them cry, and standing over them while they slept. The confrontation was pure chaos. Frank Bowen heard the screams and rushed in, managing to wrestle the hatchet away from the boy. He shoved LaPlante into a room and locked the door, yelling for the girls to run for help. But when the police arrived and burst into that locked room, it was empty. Daniel hadn't left the house. He had simply retreated back into the walls. It took hours of searching before officers noticed a slight misalignment in a kitchen cabinet. They took a sledgehammer to the wall, and behind the lath and plaster, they found Daniel crouched in a space no wider than a human torso, still wearing the wig, waiting for the family to be alone again. This is where the story should end, but this is a bad ending for a reason. The Bowen family was shattered and moved out immediately, unable to ever feel safe again. But the true tragedy happened a year later. Because Daniel was a juvenile, he was eventually released on bail. On December 1st, 1987, he broke into the home of Priscilla Gustafson, a pregnant mother of 2. He didn't hide this time. He murdered Priscilla and then drowned her 2 young children in the bathtub. The boy in the walls wasn't just a Phroger. He was a monster using the Bowen house as a rehearsal for a massacre. Today, he serves multiple life sentences, but his story remains the ultimate warning. If you hear a knock in the wall, don't assume it's the pipes. Sometimes, the house isn't just a house. It's a cage, and you're not the only one with a key.